Chapter 8. Waiting for our men to return seemed like an eternity. It was almost light when Nunor returned with almost all the sailors from the ship. Tarber stayed to mind the ship. They brought more than enough arms: swords, knives, spears, axes, shields, and daggers. Hatu and the other native men were given arms to join our battle. The captain handed me a knife. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "I am." I put the knife in my belt. All the men were gearing up. The captain already had a plan of stealthily sneaking up to the guards, taking them out quickly. Then we would move into the mine. The captain and 3 men would go after the miner's shack, where surely Pilo would be. Once we reached the edge of the mining area, we split up to move in against the guards. By the time we got there, it was light. I hadn't seen a guard near me and moved closer to get a better look at the miners. I prayed Menace and Axe were there so we could get back to the ship. By this time, when I was there, Pilo had already had the slaves working. I could hear the hammers hitting the rock. I lay on my belly next to a large boulder. I was sure I was out of sight. As I scanned the mine, a guard appeared next to me. He laughed. "I know you." I was startled. My mind was thinking how I could stab him with my knife. Then before he could get closer, I saw a tip of a sword penetrate his body. It was Nunor's sword. He pulled the sword out and pushed the body away. He raised his hand for me to be quiet, then moved on. I was stunned. I looked back into the mine, searching for my friends. I couldn't tell if they were there or not. I looked around to see if I could see the attack the others were making on the guards. It was quiet except for the sounds of the hammers below, striking the rock. They were obviously unaware of our presence. The captain came up with Nunor. He whispered, "Time for the shack and releasing the miners." I couldn't believe that all the guards had been taken care of. The captain motioned to his group that would attack the shack. As they moved forward, Pilo and another man exited the shack. Pilo was the first to notice our band of attackers. He looked around for his men. "Men! Intruders!" Nobody appeared from the shack. In moments, the captain and his men surrounded Pilo and his men. "Do you have an old man and a man with a lion tattoo on his chest here?" the captain demanded. Pilo laughed. "Who are you to attack us?" Then he saw me. "Oh." The captain put a knife to his throat. "Tell me." Pilo looked from the captain to me. "So many come and go. I don't know." The captain took the knife and slashed it across Pilo's face. Blood ran down his cheek. "Tell me." "There was an old man. I think he died." His lips pursed in anger. I think the captain was close to cutting his throat, but Nunor stopped him. He turned to Pilo. "Where's the old man?" he demanded. "He was dead. They threw him in a ditch somewhere." I think my heart stopped beating. I knew he was responsible. I ran towards him with my knife. "Where's the ditch?" I snapped. "I don't know." His eyes bulged with fear, sensing my anger as I put the knife close to his belly. "Are you sure?" said the captain. "I don't know where they threw some dead old man. He would have been useless to me," he snarled. That was it. Before I could plunge my knife into him, the captain slit his throat. If he hadn't, I would have. While we were talking, the men had been releasing the slaves. It was like a reunion with the Aido natives. Then I saw a familiar face, a toothless smile. Then I heard him. "Here!" It was Axe. I ran to him, grateful he was alive. We held each other and cried. He looked bad, even skinnier than usual. He had blood all over his hands and body. "Axe, are you okay?" "I will be when we get to the ship." "Where's Menace?" "I'm not sure. He couldn't do his job. They took him away yesterday. I don't know where." The captain came and gave Axe a hug. "We'll find him. This mine is officially closed." Axe looked around. He didn't see a guard, but he saw Pilo and his associate lying dead near the shack. "Thanks, Captain." Men split up. "He might be around here somewhere. We have to find him." The captain was resolute. I feared the worst. Pilo's words ran through my head. I wish I'd killed him. "Wait by the shack. He must be here." The men had scattered, leaving Axe and I sitting at the shack. I gave my shoulder to Axe to lean on. Hatu carried a man out of the pit. "My brother," he said. He looked worse than Axe. Then his brother looked at me. "Thank you." The Aito tribe members gathered with us. Then Hatu said, "Maybe we should search for your friend and wait to leave when he's found. Leave your brother and the others who are weak here. I have food and drink." Hatu and his two friends left us. I wanted to go, but I knew these men needed food and water, so I did that. While I was handing out food and water, from behind me a man who had been in the shack emerged and put a knife to my throat. "You're getting me out of here now." Axe and the other men stared in horror. "Anyone come near her and he's dead," the man growled. He edged me around the men so we were always facing people. Then I heard this whoosh sound and the man fell down behind me. I looked. It was the captain. The captain's arrow saved me. He had shot the man in the back. I was shaking. "Thanks. Have they found Menace?" "No. I've instructed all but Nunor and these men to return to the ship. They need to take the Aidu tribesmen to the ship to recover." "I'm coming with you," I said defiantly. The captain smiled. "I knew you would say that, but I think you should return to the ship too. You've been through a lot." There was no way I would abandon Menace, no matter how tired I was. "I'm coming," I repeated. "What's the plan?" asked Nunor. "The plan is that we find him. If he was sick and they threw him in a ditch to die, perhaps he had enough strength to get away to try to return to us. Axe, can you show us how you came here? Perhaps he would follow the same route." Axe picked up a stick and drew a map into the sandy ground. "We traveled from Tele with Greja. He was a member of the Modrai tribe." I gasped. That was the tribe that wanted to sacrifice me. Axe was shocked. "Really?" "Greja met Menace and me at the pub. I knew him from before, but there was friction between the tribe and the townspeople. The tribe needed food and water, and the townspeople would make them pay exorbitant prices for the foods. The townspeople had diverted the stream away from the Odrai tribe, and they were furious. They were starting to burn the village when we were intercepted by Pilo's men. They needed slaves, and we looked like the likely ones." He returned to the map. "They avoided the Modrite village, instead of followed the side of the volcano." "Does the volcano ever erupt?" Captain asked. "I don't know," answered Axe. Then from behind me, one of the Aito natives said, "Mount Chermo gets angry and erupts. The Modrai think they need to have a female sacrifice to prevent it from erupting. My tribe doesn't believe that." I remembered them trying to throw me down the hellhole at the top of the mountain. I started praying it was going to erupt till we were gone. It wasn't going to erupt until we were gone. Axe continued his map with the stick. "Once we got around it, we were taken down here where a road exists. They forced us down this road until we got there. If I was Menace, I would find the way to the road. I suggest you go down the road at least till you get here, then cross behind the volcano." "All right, thanks, Axe. You need to get back to the ship. Kanar, help him back," the captain instructed one of the sailors. "Captain, as much as I would like to go back to the ship, I'd like to help," pleaded Axe. "You've already helped. Go recover," ordered the captain. Axe didn't look good. I noticed whip marks on his back. He finally conceded to return to the ship. The men returning to the ship left our small group as we began our search for Menace. We weren't as careful as we were when the guards were there. We called for him. "Menace! Menace! Where are you, Menace?" We had the captain, Nunor, and two other men besides myself looking and calling. We spread out, each on the side of the road, thinking that would be a likely spot for him. It was very discouraging. Not a sign of him. "Maybe he made it to the stream," I said. "Where is it?" the captain asked. "Follow me." I led them up the hill over the huge boulders. Then I saw a stream from my location. "It's here," I called back to them. Suddenly 2 natives grabbed me, Todre and Aurol. I screamed. The captain yelled up at us as he and Nunor scrambled to catch up. "Hey!" The natives were too fast, each locked around my arms, so I could only dangle or be dragged over rocks. It was a small canyon. They dragged me down over the rocks towards the stream. Nunor, who had had a bow and arrow, aimed at Arwal, getting him in the chest. Todre continued to drag me up over the other side. He yelled at the captain and the men. "She has to be sacrificed or we'll all die." When he turned back, I heard a noise. He gasped and suddenly fell at my feet. Thinking it was Nunor again, I said, "Thanks, Nunor." Nunor, the captain, and the other man ran to me. Nunor looked around. "Not me." That got me scared. Then I saw Menace behind a rock. "Me? Menace!" I screamed. "Menace!" the captain also said it with a sign of relief. We each scrambled to get to him. As I stepped over Todre's body, I ran and held him. "How did you do that?" "I've always been good at throwing rocks," he smiled, although he looked close to death. "I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" He was gaunt and dirty. "I could use some food and water." One of the men pulled out our supplies and handed Menace some bread. I stared at the old man, who looked a lot older than the last time I saw him. "Hilo said you were dead." Menace smiled. "Did I ever tell you I was in the army?" He directed that to his son. "Well, I was, and a pretty good soldier. Anyway, they bought it. I just played possum." "I didn't have a lot of strength, but I managed to crawl this far. Were you at the mine?" The captain spoke. "They're dead. It's all taken care of. Some of the men took the natives that were enslaved back to the ship to recover. Axe went with them." "Really?" he said. "Glad he's okay." Then the ground began to shake underneath us. I screamed and fell forward onto Menace. "Earthquake! I was familiar with them. We would have them at home." Nunor was the first to speak and pointed to the top of the mountain. The volcano was spewing ash and sparks. "Run!" shouted the captain. I wondered how he knew where to run, but I forgot he was an expert navigator. Nunor instinctively picked up Menace, throwing him over his shoulder. I could see it was awkward for Nunor to run with him. However, he was a big guy with long legs that moved quickly. I kept looking at the top of the mountain, anticipating the lava to come. "We need to get to the beach," I yelled to the captain as we maneuvered the big rocks. Then I heard the most terrifying sound. It was like my stomach growling on a monumental scale. Then sparks flew out of the mountains, igniting the bushes on the top. We were literally running for our lives. I saw the beach ahead. I ran as fast as I could. When I looked up there, more and more sparks were flying out of the top. Then I saw lava flowing over the edge of the top. "Ah!" I screamed. The men caught up to me and grabbed my hands to keep me moving. I was sure we were going to be covered in lava. We got to the beach and there was no boat. The men had taken both boats to return to the ship and hadn't returned. I was sure we were going to die. I kept looking up at the mountain and the sparks flying in the air. "There's no boat," I cried. Menace was calm. "Don't worry, Ermia. We'll get back." Then he put his fingers in his mouth and let out a whistle in spurts. It was so loud, I'm sure they must have heard it on the ship. We could see the ship in the distance. I actually thought about swimming to it. Then I saw 2 boats coming to get us. Tarver was on one boat, and Kanar was on the second. They were oaring as fast as they could. I looked at the mountain. The lava was flowing our way. I walked out into the water and sure the lava was going to get us. The mountain spit fire everywhere. If the town hadn't been burnt down from the war, it was surely burning now. The boats got there just in time for all of us to get in. I watched as the lava crept towards the beach. We had barely made it. I couldn't wait to reach the ship. Menace held me in the boat as we took to the ship. "It's okay, Ermia. We're safe." I was the first one out of the boat. I was so glad to get back. I couldn't stop crying. Menace walked up next to me and gave me a big hug. "What happened? You were supposed to wait for us." "The Modri stole my digging deer. I couldn't let them take that. Then they hit me over the head and told me they were going to help me dig for diamonds, but they really wanted to throw me in the volcano for their gods." I started to cry. "I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry." "Shh," said Menace. "We made the decision. We cannot blame you, nor should you blame yourself for what happened." We could see the waves of lava flowing down the mountain towards the sea. The captain wasted no time once on board. "Okay, men, get us out of here." I made Menace go down to the bed and get some more food. I felt so bad for both he and Axe. The men scrambled to their duties. I looked around for Axe. I assumed he was in the bunk. I stood on the deck, transfixed by the sparks, lava, and fire. So were the natives. Pinmore joined me on deck as I continued to watch the volcanic destruction. I have dinner fixed. I figured you would need a rest. The natives, Axe, and a couple of other men are eating now. Even Menace grabbed some food to take to his bunk. Looks like you could use a rest and some food. I wondered how awful I looked. I'm sure I smelled. Let me clean up first. I left him and went to my storage room. I was so glad to see my sling. I fell into it, enjoying the comfort so much that I fell asleep.